What's been the biggest difference in between building your law practice, which you were in for 25 years, and now spending your time building this, my longevity guide that you've been building for the last few years? Welcome to Her Story to the Top.
I'm Jana Blackwelder, and I'm co-founder of C-SuiteReadiness.
My name is Helen Vaysman, and I'm a co-founder of C-SuiteReadiness.
In this podcast, we will bring you the stories of those women who've made it to the C-suite and became successful founders. No fluff, no pretense, just real stories and real insight, what it took to make it to the top. We are here with Luba Stark, who is the founder of mylongevityguide. And we are here to talk about her story, how we wound up here today. Why don't you tell us how you pivoted from a very different type of a career as being a matrimonial attorney, stressful and probably the antithesis for longevity, and how you pivoted to where you are now and being an expert in the longevity field.
Yes. So my story started when I went to law school. I worked a little bit on Wall Street, and then I went on my own, opened my law firm, and I was a divorce lawyer for 25 years. About 2016, 17, I started to experience a lot of emotional fatigue just because the topic of law that I was practicing was extremely tense, a lot of discord in family law. And I was considering changing fields, and then the universe kind of pushed me to it. My husband became ill at that time, and I started to realize that health is the ultimate wealth. And having, spent 25 years raising kids, working long hours, it just all came to to a point where I felt that I needed a change because I needed to focus on health. And so I decided to go back to school to study, and I spent 6 years studying all kinds of modalities that have to do with health. And the culmination of all these studies was my program that I created called the 12 Pillars of Longevity. And I've been working with many clients all around the world, a lot of executive groups, a lot of companies, leading longevity seminars, and basically talking a lot about the 500 layers of health that could be implemented to create a longevity lifestyle. So the program that I've created is based on all those studies that I did, and it contains a lot of different tools from all different modalities that are lifestyle medicine, basically.
So we don't want to give everything away in this podcast.
No.
But maybe you can just name the 12 modalities so that people can understand what it entails, since not everyone is possibly familiar with what longevity is. It has become a buzzword, but what does it really mean?
So longevity means health span. You have lifespan, that's how long a person lives. And then you have health span, that's how long a person is healthy. And if you look at people from prior generations who maybe did not focus so much on longevity, didn't have the information to invest in themselves throughout their life. So when they get to that last quarter of life, they have a strong, healthy, vibrant lifestyle. So longevity is optimizing your health span because you want to prevent cognitive decline. You want to prevent all the modern day diseases that people suffer from. A lot of these things are preventable with a longevity lifestyle, because you're talking about sometimes decades of investment into buffering your health, your cellular health, your gut health, your cognitive health, your heart health. And the 12 pillars, each pillar covers one portion of longevity health. That's the program.
So, what are the 12 pillars of longevity?
So, my program starts with decluttering, because a lot of time when you introduce change into your life, you need to make space for it. And people are so overwhelmed with information, with on the internet, their Instagram, their Facebook. There's overload of information, and at home we are living in a consumer kind of society. People have a lot of stuff, a lot of that stuff they may or may not need. The second pillar is longevity supplement protocols, where we discuss all the latest longevity supplements that a person can implement, all the testing that can be done to figure out which of these supplements work for you.
In your experience, from what you've seen, how can changing the micro habits can change your life in the bigger picture?
Most people experience great challenges in introducing new things into their lifestyle. And my system is intended to help you change micro habits, because when you introduce small change, the small change starts compounding. Because a lot of the layers of health that we talk about are micro habit based. You are your lifestyle. And when you start changing your lifestyle, it's like people who want to, for example, go on a diet. It's very challenging because that's too much change at the same time. So there's a lot of resistance. But if you start changing very small things, for example, eating more natural foods as opposed to packaged foods, that's a micro habit change. And if you're able to implement a micro habit, for example, eating fruit as a snack as opposed to like a bar or something in a package, you're able to already start showing to yourself that you can create change, because action is where the change starts.
So, what do you think is the most important part or a habit in someone's life to start with? Should it be diet? Should it be sleep?
So I would say from all of the pillars, there's two pillars that are easier to enter into. The first one is sleep hygiene, and the second one is movement and stress reduction. That's one pillar. Um, our society seems to indicate that you have to exercise and do a lot of like very hard things to create a result. But the reality shows that small amounts of movement during the day, like if you go for a 15-minute or a 10-minute walk after a meal, for example, it reduces your glucose spike by up to 50%. So even if you implement 2 10-minute walks after meals, and that's your micro change, within 1 year, you will automatically reduce your sugar spikes, the glucose spikes, and you will start losing some weight. You will start feeling much more energized, and your body will start functioning much better because it doesn't have to fight all that glucose going all over the body. And what I recommend to my clients is to find something they love. For example, I'm obsessed with pickleball or dancing. So I wake up in the morning, I'm already thinking, what time is pickleball today? Or what time am I dancing? Those are my movements that I love.
So, to go back a little bit, like a few years in the past, since the name of this podcast is Her Story to the Top, And I'm sure our audience would want to hear more about that pivot, the change in your career, starting your own business again, and sort of like starting from scratch. What would you say were your biggest challenges and maybe biggest surprises while sort of having this career transformation? Um,
Yes. So for me, being a litigator was very high stress because I had very high net worth clients. So the cases were very large with a lot at stake. And I wanted to pivot into a field, A, that is super interesting to me, meaningful, because I love helping people. That's why I became a divorce lawyer. I was holding someone's hand through each case to make sure they get the best result for their life. And I was very lucky because I was very successful in my field. And my husband, when I spoke to him about changing careers, said, sure, take your time, go back to school. I had the ability to finance all these, educations through Cornell and other certifications that I've received. Once you have that base of knowledge, it's all a question of inspiration. I was extremely inspired to create a system that allows busy professionals like I used to be to really spend a small amount of time building a lifestyle that will support their health. Especially women, we give to everyone all the time. And quite often, even though we try to take care of our health, which means go to get our physical, make sure all our markers are good. We don't really know what this extended health span is and how to get there. And when we start looking at our feed and there's 1.5 million influencers, everybody peddling a supplement or a gadget or some kind of thing, we get very confused because we try this and we try this. And at the end of the day, nothing really sticks. So what I wanted is to create a system where you can continuously build a lifestyle, one small change at a time.
As you've been building this new business for a few years now, I'm sure there have been moments of high stress and anxiety. What habits have you implemented to control those levels?
I have routines. I have a longevity routine that I do with my husband in the morning and in the evening. The pressure comes from your own expectation. But I didn't come, this was not my first career. It wasn't from scratch, and I own other businesses. So I knew that this one is like a passion. I knew that at some point, when I create this program and system, I will be able to, go into my network of friends, colleagues, the people I know, and develop a business. That way, I'm also part of many networks for women and things like that. I think it's very important to surround yourself with supportive people that not only support you, as a friendship, but also believe that you can achieve something and create change and help people.
Like, how long is your morning routine and your night routine? And if it's very long, does it have to be that long, or sort of what
Mm-hmm.
are you seeing with your clients?
Yes. So depending on how much time a person can devote to a longevity routine in the morning and at night, we can tailor
And
the
how much
best
time do
approach.
you do it?
Well, we get up every day at 6, but we also go to sleep the latest at 10:30, unless there's events or parties or things like that. So we've really dialed in our sleep. So you can tailor, even if you have 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, I can still create a whole longevity routine for you. Micro habit change is where it's at. And I've worked with so many clients, and all the time I see the same thing. Anybody who tries to bite too much of an apple ends up not eating the
Or
apple because
breaking a
it's
tooth?
exactly, God forbid.
God
Yeah.
forbid. So you mentioned that you find that a lot of people certain people are resistant to different pillars. And since we're speaking to you now, what were you most resistant to? What pillar did you find you had the most resistance to?
I have to say that for me, stress reduction was the biggest one, because there's a difference between working out so you can look good and feel good and stress reduction. And when I started introducing many modalities that are in that particular pillar to myself and started trying them out, I realized that stress reduction and movement go hand to hand, but they're like two different sides of one medal. So if you move a lot, but you don't have stress reduction modalities that you practice on a daily basis, you don't realize how much stress your body still contains from a long career, from a long day. And when you do implement, and most of these modalities are 2-3 minutes long, which is beautiful because you can do them anywhere at any time, and they change the energy flow and they release a lot of that cooped up energy from the body and the mind.
Is there a specific age when people should start getting a longevity routine? Is it something that you believe should be introduced at a younger age? Or I know age is a bit of a difficult topic and it could be a little sensitive, but since we're talking about
Um,
longevity, I think it's appropriate.
Yes, for sure. And you're going to laugh. And most people are very surprised to find out that the people that are the most obsessed
Are
with
young, are
longevity
younger,
are the
are the
young
younger people?
people. I have so many young clients, 30, 35, that are they're willing to create these longevity routines. They don't want to have these things that they've seen their grandparents go through at the end of life with all kinds of chronic situations, especially cognitive decline. Young people are very afraid of cognitive decline, and a lot of the cognitive decline can be, prevented with lifestyle changes. But I would say that the average age that people get really interested is over 40, 45. I do have clients that are 60 and 70. It doesn't matter when you start building the routine and the lifestyle, as long as you do. The oldest client I've worked with was 73, and his result was fabulous. We worked for a year. He took each pillar and really created awareness of how those little tools can increase and improve the health of particular systems in his body.
At C-Suite Readiness, which I'm a co-founder of, we are very excited to have you come on board and run this course for us. What would the framework of the longevity course look like for people who may want to join?
Time commitment is very small. It's 1 hour for the group coaching that we get together per month, and 1 hour to do the pillar on your own.
What's been the biggest difference in between building your law practice, which you were in for 25 years, and now spending your time building this, my longevity guide that you've been building for the last few years, in terms of building the actual business and monetizing and generating revenues? What would you say has been the biggest sort of hurdle or lesson that you've learned in building this new venture?
There's a lot of technology involved in building an online business. I actually only opened my Instagram, even though I've been doing this for years, I think 6 weeks ago, because I was so busy working and creating things that it was not something I was ready to do. Now I have an Instagram presence, a small one. The technology, finding good people to build your systems, your website, your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram. This business is international. I have some clients that live in foreign countries. So it's very technology focused, and people, like me that grew up without a cell phone and all that, we're a little more technology resistant. So I think it's very important to have the right people to create these things with you. And also networking. I never had to really network as a family lawyer because people kept coming, for 25 years. In this particular venture, I choose the people that I work with because if someone has a lot of resistance, then I wouldn't work with them. So it's all based on the technology that you create to get out there and to be able to deliver the best possible product to your client.
I agree. I have to say that, being a co-founder of C-Suite Readiness, it's been a learning curve because the people who are on the back end of our technology have been very much pushing my partner and I, and maybe even me more so. Um, just you have to understand how everything works and just the number of passwords and websites and just everything that's involved. And also having to put yourself out there, like on Instagram and on LinkedIn. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So I totally get it, and I'm so happy that we had this chance to speak today. And I am so excited about you running a course for us. So, are there anything else that you would want our audience to know about you? Do you have any like parting words or advice?
The one thing I would recommend to everyone is to pick one thing to do for yourself every day, whether it's a workout, a walk, a 10-minute meditation, whether it's taking a hot bath or something like that. Do something for your health and for yourself every day, no matter what, because everything else will still be there, but you will have invested in yourself, in your health. And that's very, very important to make those daily
And I think
investments.
it's just the reality is that so many women spend their days running around and taking care of everyone else and not taking care of themselves. And I think just sort of like making that a priority, a lot of women could benefit from it, especially if you're a mother, if you work, or your friends. You can, you can sort of like spend your whole day running around taking care of everyone else and putting yourself last. And we're going to try to change that.
Exactly. And
Because I don't care what anyone says. We all have 10 minutes. You know what? We all have even an hour. Right?
an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all
Yes.
have the
Even
time.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Even
Well, two
two
hours
hours a
sometimes
month
may be hard
per month.
because that may sort of cut back on one of the pillars, which is sleep. But everyone certainly has 10 minutes to devote to themselves. Well, thank you again, Luba, for joining us, and I'm so excited, and I look forward to this new adventure, and I look forward to this course. I may join also. I haven't decided yet, and I can't wait to see how this all unfolds.
I'm super excited. I invite all of your group to join. I think it's going to be an amazing adventure and a great exploration of your own bio individuality and your lifestyle. It's something that doctors don't do. It's mostly something you need to do for yourself, little layer by little layer.
Well, thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Helen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Her Story to the Top, where we bring you real stories, real conversations with real female leaders who have claimed their seat at the C-suite table. We hope these stories and our conversations will inspire you to take the next leap and to grow in your professional journey. You can follow us at C-Suite Readiness on Instagram, and please check out c-suitereadiness.com for more resources. Also, you can check our YouTube channel at C-Suite Readiness.